Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into some really fascinating ancient wisdom.
We are. We're looking at a specific part of the Therī, the verses of the elder nuns called one Eka-nipāto.
Right. And our goal here, our mission for this deep dive, is to pull out the most insightful parts, and some are pretty surprising, actually, about, well, liberation, inner peace.
The whole human spiritual journey, but specifically through the eyes of these pioneering women.
Exactly. And this isn't, dry scripture we're talking about.
Not at all. These are deeply personal reflections, teachings. Some seem to come straight from the Buddha. Others are from the nuns reflecting on their own experiences.
Gives you this incredible glimpse, really, into how they found such profound peace, often in pretty difficult circumstances.
It really does.
So here's something to think about, the hook for you listening. What does liberated actually mean? Because you might be surprised, I think, that for some of these nuns, the whole journey started in very ordinary, very relatable situations.
Yeah, and led to these moments of realization that still feel so relevant thousands of years on.
It's a fascinating way to look at these big themes, isn't it?
It really is. It shows that, the path to real freedom, well, it can look quite different from what we might typically imagine.
Okay, let's dig into that. When we talk about liberation, maybe we think of grand quests or something dramatic.
Right.
But there's this anonymous elder nun right near the start of the collection. She talks about having a cooled mind.
Ah, yes. Free of passion, free of craving. Like a dry pot, she says.
That sounds so simple.
It is simple, but incredibly profound. That image of cooling, it's powerful. Moving from the sort of heat of agitation and desire.
To calm.
Exactly, to a state of calm. And lots of verses here talk about getting rid of desire and attachment to get there.
Okay.
So you have the nun Uttara, for instance. She speaks about being restrained in body, speech, and mind.
Restrained.
Yes, and having uprooted craving. And the result, she describes herself as cooled and free.
Cooled and free. So the core idea is that freedom comes from this inner letting go, this detachment, not from gating things outside.
That's a huge part of it, yes. It's about recognizing what binds you internally.
So how do we get there, to that cooling? Is it just deciding mentally, or are there steps involved?
Well, it seems to be a mix. There's definitely active cultivation needed, working on your mind, but also a really fundamental shift in how you see things, recognizing what's actually holding you back, and then actively, consciously letting go.
Right.
Which actually leads us perfectly into some of the really striking stories.
Yeah, this is where it gets, I think, incredibly relatable for anyone listening. Take the nun Mutta.
Mutta, yes.
The Buddha apparently told her to be freed from yokes, like the moon from Rahu. What does that mean, yokes?
Well, in that context, he was encouraging her to approach her alms food with a mind freed from debt, implying a kind of inner freedom, not being weighed down. And that analogy of Rahu, this mythological figure who supposedly swallows the moon, causing an eclipse, it's a great image for how things, external or internal attachments, can just obscure our natural freedom.
Like clouds covering the moon.
Exactly. But what's really amazing about Mutta is how direct she is later on. In her own verses, she tells us exactly what those yokes were for her.
Oh, what were they?
She just comes right out and says it. Well liberated am I, well freed from three crooked things, mortar, pestle, and my crooked husband.
Wow. Mortar, pestle, and her crooked husband.
Can you believe it?
It just instantly brings this lofty idea of liberation right down to earth. The daily grind, the kitchen tools, relationship struggle.
Precisely. And then right after saying that, she adds she is liberated from birth and death, the root of existence eradicated.
So her profound spiritual freedom literally grew out of shedding these very, very ordinary, but clearly deeply burdensome parts of her life.
Yes, it shows it's not just about, cosmic battles. It's about the real struggles right here, right now.
It suggests that figuring out and letting go of even the things that seem trivial, those everyday yokes in our own lives, that could be the direct path.
It really could. Understanding what binds us, even if it seems small, might be the key. And this ties into what another nun, Dhammadinna, says.
Okay.
She talks about having an arisen desire for release and being unbound by senses. If you achieve that, she says, you're considered upstream bound.
Upstream bound. So consciously turning away from the things that pull you down.
Exactly. Turning against the current of attachment.
And it wasn't just these kinds of domestic or relational burdens, was it? There's another story, Dhamma.
Ah, yes, Dhamma. Her breakthrough came from something quite different, a moment of physical weakness.
What happened?
She recounts wandering for alms, feeling weak, leaning on her staff, and then she just fell over, right there on the ground.
Oh, dear. Just a fall.
Just a fall. But in that moment, seeing the danger in the body, as she puts it, her mind was freed.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
To get such a profound insight from what most of us would just see as, an embarrassing accident.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How often do we just brush past the potential lessons in our own discomforts, our challenges?
Yeah.
Dhamma's fall. It shows that insight doesn't always come when things are smooth. Sometimes it is the stumble, the fragility that reveals a deeper truth about, say, impermanence, the nature of this body we live in.
She saw the body's weakness and connected it straight to mental freedom.
Exactly. It really does make you think, that moment you're stuck in traffic and getting furious, or some small setback at work.
Mm-hmm.
Could those everyday annoyances actually be nudging us towards some deeper realization if we just paused and looked?
So, okay, we've seen liberation coming from confronting mundane stuff like Mutta's pestle, and even from physical frailty like Dhamma's fall.
Right, unexpected triggers.
But the Theragatha isn't only about these kinds of spontaneous moments, is it? It talks about effort too, right?
Discipline. Oh, absolutely. That's a very important point. Alongside these insights, there are really clear calls for dedicated practice and a sense of urgency.
Urgency.
Yes. Take the Nuntisa. She's explicitly told to strive with doctrines, don't let the moment pass.
Don't let the moment pass.
Because, the verse continues, those who miss the moment lament. It's a powerful nudge, really. Don't put off your practice. Seize the time you have.
And does that urgency connect to cultivating specific things like qualities of mind?
Definitely. You hear about nuns like Puṇṇā, who was advised to fill with doctrines like the full moon.
Like the full moon.
Yeah, and to destroy the darkness of ignorance with wisdom. It's very active language. And then there's Diya, urged to attain cessation, the peace of perception's calm.
Which leads to
Unexcelled Nibbana, that ultimate goal, complete freedom from suffering and the cycle of rebirth. These aren't passive states. They require deliberate effort, focus, understanding.
So it's this powerful mix. You've got the quiet observation that can lead to sudden insight.
Yeah.
The active work of cultivating wisdom and discipline.
Right.
And also this shedding of bondages, both the big spiritual ones and the incredibly mundane ones, like the nun saga. She talks about leaving home and family, sure, but also specifically leaving behind passion, hatred, and ignorance.
Yes, and having uprooted craving, it really drives home that this journey has many facets.
Yeah.
Some nuns really emphasize that coolness of mind, being free from passion's heat. Others, like Sumanā, stress seeing the elements of existence as suffering as the way to stop rebirth and find peace.
So different paths, different starting points.
Exactly. Different entry points, different lived experiences, whether it's coming from the kitchen, like Mutta, or a physical fall, like Dhamma, or years of dedicated meditation practice, but all pointing towards a similar goal. Inner peace, real freedom.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, we've really heard these voices from centuries ago, but they still resonate so clearly, don't they?
They absolutely do. Timeless wisdom.
From that peace of a cooled mind, free from all the agitation, to that real urgency about seizing the moment for practice. These verses just offer such a rich picture of the different ways to find inner freedom.
And we've seen how liberation can bubble up from dedicated spiritual work, sure, but also from surprisingly everyday struggles.
Yeah, like Mutta, finding freedom not just from suffering in some abstract sense, but literally from the mortar, pestle, and her crooked husband.
Amazing. And Dhamma's insight sparking from her own body's weakness after that fall.
It's a powerful reminder, this collection. It tells us that seeking knowledge, seeking peace, it's not just for, monks or scholars in seclusion.
Not at all. It's a deeply personal journey for anyone. And it can be sparked just by seeing the world a bit differently, by really understanding what holds us back.
And by cultivating that steady, unshakable inner calm.
So for you, listening right now, maybe take a moment to think about your own life. What are those seemingly mundane bondages? Those little daily challenges or frustrations? Could looking at them with real deep introspection actually unlock something profound? Could one of those moments hold the key to an unexpected bit of liberation for you?